Hey, what's going on, guys? Steve here, and today we're going to be doing something very, very interesting. I'm going to be doing my first music video rhetorical analysis, and today I'm going to be taking a look at Dreams of an Absolution from Sonic the Hedgehog 2006. And this is a really interesting song and has some very interesting and compelling themes. But of course, before we get into the song, I need to tell you just exactly what the song is about. So, this is a character theme from a video game, Sonic the Hedgehog 2006, which I'll be calling Sonic 06. Yes, we're going to be talking about that Sonic game. But compared to the gameplay, the music in Sonic 06 is actually really good. A little context here is that this is both. There's three main themes in this song. There's, of course, the fact that this is a character theme, you need to characterize Silver, who he is, and get you invested into the character and his part in the story, so it does that. There's also some real world themes that are really interesting that we'll be touching in later. And there's also the hidden little snippets here and there of the artist who created the song, Bentley Jones. But the most primary thing about this is, of course, that it is a character theme. And in order to know Silver, you also need to know his role in the plot of Sonic 06. Silver's part of the story takes place actually 200 years in the future, because Silver the Hedgehog is a telekinetic hedgehog from the future. In this future, telekinetic powers are a common ability. The world is completely destroyed from what are known as flames of disaster. And Silver, along with his partner and best friend, Blaze the Cat, fight an immortal being known as Iblis. Silver and Blaze essentially fight Iblis over and over and over, but since he is essentially immortal, he can never be truly defeated. That is, of course, when a figure named Mephiles appears and instructs him that there's a reason why the future is in this state, and shows him that the only way to save the future is to destroy the one known as the Iblis Trigger, the one that releases the flames of disaster, and he mentions Sonic. And Silver's role in the story is, of course, to travel back in time in order to save the future. So now with that context out of the way, you can start picking up some things here and there. Just a quick rundown. And once again, to reiterate, it's called Dreams of an Absolution. Now, Dreams of an Absolution, again, is very interesting here. Of course, dreams is very symbolic here, as you'll be shown later, but also this absolution part. Now, in case you don't know what absolution stands for, it stands for a formal release of guilt, obligation, or punishment, which you should be sort of connecting the dots a little bit here. And of course, dream is also symbolic here, not only as a literal meaning, but also a figurative meaning as well. So, without any further ado, let's get into the song. So right off the bat, the song introduces what is essentially a sort of techno, upbeat type genre, which is actually very symbolic here. In case you don't know the music of the Sonic the Hedgehog series, different characters have different genres that represent them as characters. You have Sonic with rock. These days, it's mostly pop, but back in the day, he used to be represented by rock. Very upbeat. Shadow has rock as well, but it's more like metal in a way. You had Rouge and Knuckles being a combination of jazz and rap. And the symbolic difference here is that compared to the different themes of Sonic and Shadow in this game, which are both rock, Silver's is techno. That, of course, is representative of him being from the future, using instruments that we don't really know of that are futuristic in a sense, simply because of the way that they sound. So, what you would call little bits of monologuing here are very interesting as they reminisce over a dream, and whoever this person is has the dream every night. Some questions here are raised, like, what are these dreams? Like, what are they about? What specifically stays the same every night? Very, very interesting stuff here, but keep in mind that this is just monologuing, kind of like someone reminiscing about something. So we have laying awake, finding no conclusion, every night it stays the same, in a dream of an absolution. So now, again, reminiscing of something. You find no conclusion and staying the same. We can, of course, point this back to the whole plot of Silver's story, where he's reminiscing of the future being in this broken state. Something very interesting here is every night, which is a recurring theme in this song. So I want to point that out to you guys and see if you guys can piece it together with the rest of the song. So now let's get on to the actual lyrics.
In the nightlight, do you see what you dream? All your troubles, are they or what they seem? Look around you, then you may realize all the creatures are with their lives. And I might know about future, but then you still control the past. Only you know if you'll be together. Only you know if we shall last.
So in the nightlight, do you see what you dream? Are your troubles, are they all what they seem? So again, we have dreams, the nightlight. So in the nightlight, it's very interesting here. Usually when we think of nightlights and dreams, we think of peaceful moments and being calm and at peace, where you can just clear your head and think. But in the context of this song, the nightlight is the broken state of the future. It's subversive, and the dream is, of course, a metaphor for the hope that Silver has for the future. So also keep that in mind of what I stated previously, because night, dream, night light, those are all repeated throughout the song. Now we're introduced to troubles, and if they are all what they seem. Quite interesting, because we don't know what these troubles are, and apparently they might not be what they seem. So very interesting stuff here. Look around you, then you may realize all the preachers, all with their lies. So we're introduced to this little, I guess, subversion, because preachers aren't really people who you'd expect to lie. You know, preachers are supposed to be people who tell the truth, who will help you. But here they are being characterized as lying. And I might know of our future, but then you still control the past. Some very interesting things here, which we can actually relate to what I said about the context of the story. We know that Silver is from the future, so he knows obviously what happens there. But then you still control the past can refer to many different people here. It can refer to Sonic and Shadow both, or just one of the two individually, but primarily Sonic, because of course this is who Silver is trying to go into. He's trying to save the future from Sonic. Only you know if you'll be together, only you know if we shall last. So this is what I was trying to say about the Bentley Jones theme. This is one of those little things that works in both contexts. Only you know if you'll be together, if we shall last, sounds like something that a relationship or a person in a relationship would say. Of course, we know that Bentley Jones wrote this because he was going through a breakup. And that is very symbolic of what someone would say. Only you know if you'll be together and if you shall last. And as you can see, of course, all this repetition is a monologue that happens in everyone. Silver thinks about it every day. Bentley thinks about it every day. We think about it every day. Everyone thinks about it. We are all there. This is not just something that happens in fiction. We have all been there. But there's also the meaning between the future, if it shall last in that state, as well as Silver's relationship with his friend Blaze, which will, of course, come up later. In the nightlight, do you still feel your pain? For the valor you waited never came. Once more, nightlight is repeated. Do you still feel your pain? The pain that Silver has of not being able to change the future, no matter how hard he tries. For the valor you waited never came. Again, it reflects that whole idea that when you're in a state of trouble, you always wait for something, a hero to rise, and it never did. Silver states that as long as he's been alive, he's always been fighting this. So in a way, he had to become his own hero in order to save the future. If you were able, would you go change the past to mend the football with one last chance? This, of course, gives more insight and characterization to Silver's goal in the story, which he's given the chance to go back in time and fix the future, and in order to, of course, save it. And I might know of our future, but then you still control the past. It's another verse that's repeated. Only you know if you'll be together tonight. Which again, I wanted to reinstate the whole Bentley Jones aspect of the song. In the nightlight, do you still feel your pain? For the valor you waited never came. So like I stated with Silver being able to time travel, this really brings up some very interesting stuff about Bentley here. As most of the time when you break up in a relationship, you often wonder and ponder why the relationship failed. You ask yourself, like, what happened? What caused us to break up, you know? And it's very interesting because the whole plot point of Silver being able to travel to the past is also something that Bentley wishes he could do. If you were able, would you go change the past? You know, he wishes he could go back and be there for his partner, which is also a real world connection here. Many of us, when confronted with problems and we do something that ends up hurting others, we often think what we could have done different. We would all like a chance to go back in time and fix our mistakes, and that's just something that we do as humans. We often ponder about such things.
'Cause every night I will save your life, and every night I will be with you. 'Cause every night I still lay awake and I dream of an absolution. 'Cause every night I will make it right, and every night I will come to you. But every night it just stays the same in my dream of an absolution.
'Cause every night I'll save your life, and every night I'll be with you. 'Cause every night I still lay awake and I dream of an absolution. Here we have, of course, more of Silver's character here. Every night he'll save your life, he'll be with you, and later in the verse he'll make it right, he'll come to you. Again, it's characterization of Silver. He's always willing to help. He's always willing to be there. But every night it just stays the same in my dream of an absolution. So, of course, this is part of his dream. He's saying what he will do in order to save the future and what he'll do in his dream. Now, there's also, of course, how we relate this to Bentley's breakup is this is sounding very reminiscent of something that someone who's gone through a breakup would have said or would have done in this case to their partner if they could have been there. You know, Bentley, in a way, seems to regret what he did in his relationship. He wishes that he could save his partner, that he would be with them. He would make it right, and though he'll come to them when they need him. Very interesting. And again, it also connects to the real world. Obviously, when you want to make, when you ponder about what you could have done different, you think to yourself, you know, I'd like to do this, I'd like to do that. What would have happened if I would have just done this? All of that. It's very interesting that all of these verses, of course, all reminisce around the same idea, and that they can, of course, connect to different things.
In the nightlight, do you see what you dream? All your triumph and all you'll ever be. Look around you, then you may realize happy
the nightlight do you see what you dream, all your triumph and all you'll ever be. Look around you, then you may realize happiness trapped in misery. Now we're introduced to some very interesting stuff. Triumph in all you'll ever be. This is, of course, Silver reminiscing about, again, what would happen in there. He is describing happiness, triumphs, victories that could have been, things that could have happened if the future wasn't in this state. Now, happiness trapped in misery is very interesting here because, as we know, Silver and his partner Blaze are in this conflict together, and happiness trapped in misery refers to it refers to Blaze, because a little quick spoiler in terms of the game, Blaze actually seals herself and Iblis in another dimension in order to save the future at the end of Silver's story. So there we have happiness trapped in misery, because now Blaze is eternally in a different dimension with Iblis, sealed away. Silver's happiness is now trapped in misery, which is another dimension where her and Iblis are now trapped. And then, of course, we get a restate here. And who knows what of our future? We can all try to change the past. Only you know if you'll be together. So that part right there about who knows what of our future, very different from earlier in the song where it stated, and I might know of our future. It's interesting because now Silver has actually gone back in time. So the future has been changed. No matter what Silver does, either he fails or succeeds, it is now changed. The future, as Silver knows it, does no longer exist. We get more insights to Bentley's side here. Triumph in all you'll ever be. Happiness lies trapped in misery. Again, a double meaning here with Bentley, because we can see that Bentley is still wrapping around his idea of what could have happened if he was there for his partner. And that line of happiness lies trapped in misery can, in terms of a relationship, can kind of reflect the fact that because of a breakup, that happiness no longer exists. It is trapped in that what could have been state, but it is no longer there. You can no longer access it. As well as the real world, which is like, of course, reminiscing about different things. You can imagine how things could be different, things that you would have won, things you would have lost, and all of these things that could have just been different again. These next two verses are repeated from the beginning of the song, but the importance here is that, like I stated previously, it's repeating it. Thoughts in your head, things that are circling, the things that keep you up at night. Like, you go through all these experiences, and regardless of who you're thinking about here, Silver, Bentley, or even yourself, you're always going to be thinking about them. They'll keep you up at night. We've all had those moments that, we just wonder. And that's where this repetition really comes into play, and you can see the overall metaphor of every night, dream, absolution. We want to be free of those things. We want to change them. But as you can see, Silver here is the one who actually gets that chance compared to everyone else. We are just left in that reflective state.
'Cause every night I will save your life, and every night I will be with you. 'Cause every night I still lay awake and I dream of an absolution. 'Cause every night I will make it right, and every night I will come to you. But every night it just stays the same in my dream of an absolution. Cause every night I will save your life, and every night I will be with you. Cause every night I still lay awake and I dream of an absolution. Cause every night I will make it right, and every night I will come to you. But every night it just stays the same in my dream of an absolution. And you'll see
and you'll see what you'll be, and you'll see all you can be, because every night and every night and every night I will dream. More reflection here. The repetition emphasizes just how long Silver has had this hope and dream, because remember, he's been fighting Iblis ever since he was, I guess, old enough to fight. Every day he dreams of a better future, of peace, every single day. And in this dream of a better future, he dreams of everything that you could be. He dreams of everything that could have happened, all the beauty, all the amazing things that could have happened. Now we see the Bentley side of things, which is his breakup. He dreams of what could have been different once more. How he and his partner it could have happened. It could have worked. Maybe if they had done this or that. And of course, again, just more repetitions, and all the things are driven forward by this repetition.
And you'll see this is my dream. Every night I'll always dream.
Yeah, this is my dream, and every night, and I will always dream. We get the conclusion of this song. So he's reached the climax of his development. He is now set on this hope for the future and will always fight for it. Silver will always ensure a better tomorrow. The way that this song ends is reminiscent of his ongoing character. The fact that it applies to not only his conflict in Sonic 06, but also future games. He'll always be there. This dream of an absolution not only applies to the conflicted state of the future at the end, but also any further conflict that he'll be a part of. He will always dream. He will always have hope that the future can change. He always knows, or he will always fight for a better tomorrow. This in current conflicts, he'll always face them the same way as he's always has. But apparently, the whole aspect of Sonic 06, which is very weird in this game, is the fact that at the end of the day, none of this story happened because the flames of disaster were extinguished. Solaris was ended for good. Solaris can never once appear ever again. Again, this all comes back to the fact that no matter what, Silver will always have that drive in him. He'll always want to see a better tomorrow. It also gives us insights to Bentley's breakup. The fact that he says that he'll always dream means that he's never quite gotten over this breakup. He still thinks about it. He's still reminiscing. He's still dreaming. He's still thinking. And again, it connects to us as well. This plot point of Silver's character is also a reflection of us as humans and how we think about conflicts. Because no matter how much we want to turn back time, our decisions are set and we must live with those consequences. However, that doesn't mean that we are doomed forever. The past can be as bad as it can, but in order for us to live good lives, we must be willing to change our futures. It's sort of cliche in these days, but it's true. And as much as we would like the ability to travel back in time, sometimes it is best to leave said things in the past because it is that growth that pushes us forward. Again, it ties this whole song together because it really does emphasize the whole plot point of Silver's story. Because remember that the story of Silver is essentially that. What would you do if you had the chance to change the past? And in a way, as I stated previously with Silver winning, but at what cost, and the fact that the game implies that these events never happened, it sort of leads you to think that, in a way, sometimes going back in time is not the answer. Most of the times you have to accept that what happened, and you just have to push forward. But anyway, guys, that's going to be this analysis for today. Let me know what other songs you want me to analyze in the future. I have some ideas, but I don't know if I'll continue this any further. Let me know what you think of Dreams from Absolution. It's a bop for sure. It really does connect with you at the end, and really want to hear your thoughts about it. Be sure to leave them down in the comments below, and I'll see you guys in the next video.